Hi, I'm Rick Dior, and today we're going to talk about the CrossRim Click, very common type of rim shot. Now, I've already done a video quite a while back on all the types of rim shots. We'll go over that quickly. Of course, you have the regular rim shot, which is this, and that's when you hit the snare drum in between the shoulder or shaft of the stick and the rim. You can also do a harmonic rim shot, which is the neck of the stick, like this. As you get closer to the shoulder, that rim shot becomes fatter. And used a lot in rock and funk and things like that. Then there's also a rim shot where the stick is on the drum, like this. And that's a type of stick shot. You can also do a stick shot like this. Philly Joe Jones used those all the time. And then we have the CrossRim Click, which is this. And the correct way to do that, or the way that I do it, and I call that correct, is the butt end of the stick goes out. You can do it with the tip out. It's just not going to sound as fat. Big difference. And sometimes you have to fish around for the sweet spot depending on the stick, the snare drum, the type of rims, lots of things like that. And different snare drums will have a different cross-rim sound. This particular drum, this is a older Ludwig Black Beauty, has a great cross-rim sound. It's nice and ringy and thick sounding. So normally for me, that sweet spot is about, I don't know, a quarter of the way up the stick. So right here, hopefully you can see that. And I use my palm, in other words, this part of my hand, that stays on the drum, and it moves up and down like this. Kind of like a wrist motion. So the grip is this. We'll hold it a few different ways. Hopefully one of these cameras will capture it. We'll turn it upside down here. And you see how my thumb is on the side of the stick and the index finger is holding it. And these other fingers don't do much with the stick, but they do muffle the drums, or the drum. I remember when I played with Aretha Franklin and Bernard Purdie was playing drums, and the first time we played Natural Woman, I looked over there and watched Bernard play that groove, and he was doing this in between the notes. Kind of that Purdie shuffle there, and I never realized that he used his fingers like that to mark time. That was really cool. So I started doing it too. But anyway, the fingers can be used for that. They can also be used for muffling and unmuffling the drum. Sometimes you don't want that drum to be muffled, so you can take the fingers off, as opposed to this. Now, when you're playing this in sort of a pop or R&B format, you do want it more dry, so you want to leave your fingers on there like this. So that's a drier sound. But for any kind of Latin or Brazilian, Afro-Cuban or Brazilian thing, you want it a little bit ringier, like a timbale. So that way you take your fingers a little more off the drum there, so you're not muffling it. All right? You can also do doubles with that, like this. Now in that case, I'm using my whole hand together, so it's more of a wrist stroke than anything. We'll try paradiddles. I remember going to see The Police at Madison Square Garden when I was a kid and watching Stuart Copeland play. Just lots of CrossRim, really cool stuff, like Walking on the Moon and all those things. He was a master of that stuff. Sure, he still is. So that's something to listen to too. The second Police record is great. All right, I think it's Reggae de Blanc. I think so. Anyway, we'll put it up here once I look it up and remember. So if we're playing sort of a Brazilian kind of thing, a samba, a fast one, here's how I approach that with my left hand. So you see there I'm doing lots and lots of ghosting. A lot of ghosting goes on. And it's kind of a bounce, but it's also a lot of times you are kind of muscling it too. So that's a very loose wrist there. All right. And the muscling comes when you want to play it drier. So what I'm trying to get at here is there's two types of sounds. There's a wetter sound where you're lifting your hand off the drum like this. And there's a drier sound where you're not doing that. Now on a ringy drum like this Black Beauty, because it's brass and it's got that real ringy sound, you might want to dry that up sometimes. You could put some muffling on it too if you wanted to. I'll show you that real quick. And that would dry it up as well. So, today I'm choosing not to muffle it because I want to show you all the different complexities of the ring with that. Another way you can approach this is to actually use the tip of the stick in this case, all right, to play before the click like this. So that would sound like this. And all I'm doing is I'm just sort of have a loose wrist there, like that, and I'm just doing this. But you have to time it, and that's what takes the practice, is timing that. And over time, you get it when you work on some exercises. Normally, I'll just, and I'll put the muffling back on so it's a little bit drier so you can hear it. I'll do stuff like this, where I just play this particular pattern. And I will just kind of let my hand roam around, undisciplined. So I'll keep an ostinato. This is the ostinato. That's something I use for playing samba a lot. And then that left hand will play different rhythms. And I will actually bring that tip up. You know, the tip is here, remember, where, you know, the butt might normally be there. All right. And just kind of wave my hands around. It's kind of like a fish, you know, when you get it on the boat, you know, when you catch a fish and it's all over the place, right? That's the kind of thing. Your hand is just moving around. And if you can learn to do that in time, it's amazing the kind of complexities and the different nuance of sound you can get. I liken it to playing a tambourine, the little Brazilian drum, when you have your finger on the inside and then you're playing the top with the little fork stick, you know, and the fingers filling in the gaps. It's very similar to that. So once again. So if we play Mambo, which is an Afro-Cuban groove, a dance groove, and these are in my book, I'll put, all these rhythms are in my book, but I'll put the Mambo up there so you can see it. There's a way to play that also so you can anticipate the click. So like this. And we'll turn the snares off and use this as a tom as well. So there you see how my left hand is imitating a conga player. I'm doing that bead into the head before I hit the stick. So. So another groove that uses this quite a lot is reggae. We'll play a couple different versions of that. Now, let's talk about a few exercises you can work on to practice this. I like to use paradiddle stickings, so singles, doubles, paradiddles, triples, anything like that. And I would get something going on your feet first. So if we do this basic samba pattern. Once you get it going, just improvise like I did towards the end there. Do as many doubles as you can with your left hand to build up the strength. All right. You can also do stick control if you want. That's something I did when I was younger. I just went through the first 2 pages of George Stone's stick control and just did those stickings over in ostinato. You want to do that at the drum set. It's very, very important because you've got to get the feeling of the coordination of doing this stroke, which is different than just playing, you know, on the drum. It's a different feel, and it will mess up your coordination. So that's important to do that. So hopefully this answers some of the questions I got on this a while back. I haven't gotten any recently when I put that rim shot video out. And I've been wanting to do this one for a long time. I just, you know, life got in the way. So I'm doing it now, and hopefully you have a good view without any toms or anything, and you can see what I'm doing. So I'll just play a little for you, and we'll call it a day.